All right, Sistas fans, hope everybody's doing well. Praise God, they finally released a trailer for next week's episode. I've had at least like 3 or 4 different Sister videos that I couldn't do until the official trailer came out. Remember, I wasn't able to watch Sisters until Thursday morning because we only got one TV that has Dish Network at my parents' house. So that's the only one with BET. Dish Network, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, I need to double check on this, isn't connected to our Wi-Fi. Well, hang on. You know what? I need to go to BET.com and see if Dish Network is actually able to be signed into, so I can use that. Okay, I'll do that on my own time. Sorry to ramble like that, but I'm just trying to explain that Wednesday night when the episode came on, I didn't watch it, so I couldn't watch the trailer live. Everybody told me, Jeremy, but I couldn't say anything until the trailer came out for me to see and break down. So I actually did some research for my own. I know some people who work in law, and I wanted to double check my sources. And I wanted to see in the trailer, Jasmine, during the happy hour between all the girls minus Fatima, Karen shows the paperwork that she received at the beauty salon that Jasmine is actually suing Andy, as well as all of her friends as accomplices to breaking up her marriage. So, guys, please take a moment to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So, yeah, the question is, can Jasmine sue? Now, if you watch Bruh, and if you don't, I got reviews on every single episode, all 24 episodes of season 1, the first 10 episodes of season 2, and the show is currently on mid-season hiatus. But early into season 2, Regina actually slapped, or basically she said to Bill that she was going to sue for ruining her wedding. Long story short, they were a couple, but then he dumped her, pretty much, had her heart broken, sitting around for like 2 years until she met somebody else, a dude he knew from college. They were engaged and were getting married in season 1, but Bill realized basically he didn't want her to be with anybody else. He literally sabotaged their wedding, causing a major fight. And when they decided to go through with the marriage anyway, Regina backed down because she couldn't do it. They actually had sex during her bachelorette party. So, Peter, the guy she was supposed to marry, ended up filing a lawsuit against her for all the money spent on the wedding. And then in turn, Regina said she was going to sue Bill. And then he went over to his boy Mike's house. Mike is a lawyer. He was actually name dropped early into season 1 when Fatima and Andy were talking about people who could help out with the whole Gary situation, about the FBI arresting him. And Hayden and Mike were the only 2 guys to be brought up. They're black attorneys. And Mike is an asshole. That's what they said. And basically, more to the point, Bill went over to Mike's loft and basically asked, could Regina sue me for that? And Mike said, you can sue anybody for anything. It doesn't mean you're going to win, but you can sue. So I did some research. I just simply typed in, can a woman sue her husband's mistress? And here's what the internet, as well as a couple of my lawyer friends, actually confirmed. If you want to file a lawsuit against your husband's mistress or your wife's primar, I don't know how to say that, you will need to file an alienation of affection lawsuit. In this lawsuit, you can essentially sue a third party for breaking up your marriage. Some more information. In this case, both you and your husband and his concubine, or mistress will be punished under the law. You cannot file a case of concubine against the mistress without implicating your husband. Basically, you can't go after the third party without going after your spouse as well. So yeah, while a complaint for concubinage may be filed by the wife, a complaint for adultery may be filed by the husband. So it's a catch-21 or catch-22, I don't know, whatever. So essentially, yes, Jasmine does have the right to file a lawsuit, but a few things about that. I'm wondering this: will Andy finally admit to the girls that Jasmine not only ganged up on her, rolled up on her to basically beat her ass in the parking lot at her job, but then also, a little over 24 hours ago, well, actually almost 48 hours ago at that time, rolled up into her apartment to kill both her and Gary? Not to mention, Fatima, I think Hayden could be a factor in this because he actually has video footage of the parking lot beatdown, and then the fact that Fatima had the gun and whatnot. But also, there's just so many things that come along with that, from the girls standing by Andy's side. It's kind of, and this is why I don't want a friend group like this. They're so wishy-washy. One day they're on your side, the next thing they're against you. But here's the thing, Karen being the one to give her this paperwork makes a lot of sense. I just think it's funny, like the one who stepped out of the wedding, who was called an ass by Danny for you wrong for this, when she didn't want to, stand by this wedding, which she didn't, believe in. Basically didn't want to see Andy make a major mistake, but now she's made a situation worse. Now they all have to pay for it. Now, at the beginning of season 1, Sabrina was suspended and in danger of losing her job for doing the transfer of the money in Andy's account. And then that wiped her file, and then Sabrina got in trouble for it. I don't blame Andy because Sabrina's boss said you didn't follow protocol. But then after the investigation was over, she's like, okay, turns out you didn't do anything wrong. So I don't blame Sabrina because you did it because, I know Andy, but either way, she's still a customer at your bank, meaning that you needed to follow protocol. You can't fully blame Andy/Gary for that. But in this case, I can see all the girls being like, Andy. Yeah, basically Jasmine's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me. So my question is, what the hell happened to Jasmine? Is she in jail right now? I mean, it's like when that cop told Andy, yeah, you might want to get a restraining order. Bastard, she came into her apartment trying to kill her ex-husband and his current fiance. I'm pretty sure a restraining order isn't something that needs to be filed right now. More so, put this bitch behind bars and make sure you throw away the key. So I wonder what this means for Jasmine's future in the show. Not to mention, how is Gary going to handle this news? Because based on the preview, I think the order of operations is Fatima calls Andy from the apartment. Andy comes over, overhears the moaning and groaning in the bedroom, and finds what Andy finds out what Gary was doing. Probably a misunderstanding. They sit on the couch and talk. She goes out to dinner with Robin. Then she goes to happy hour with the girls, and then towards the end of the episode, I feel like that's when she slapped with the lawsuit, and all the sisters like, what the hell? So I'm wondering how this is going to be settled. I'm actually interested in this. This is one of the few storylines, and no, it's not because my boo Jasmine is involved, but no, I'm actually interested because now we're seeing Andy's bad relationship decision making affecting her friends. And I mean, why exactly with the sisters could it be like, yeah, y'all should have kept your girl's head on straight instead of going down on my man's head or something along those lines? I'm just very curious. So I feel like, again, if like Maurice told Sabrina, fight fire with fire. If Jasmine thinks she can go after Andy and her girls, then what about Jasmine and her girls? Weren't they supposed to be arrested? There are a lot of things that did not make sense about season 2, but whatever. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you think the girls are going to react to this news? What do you think they're going to do to combat it? What's Gary going to do when Andy tells him about it? And we'll just have to wait and see. So thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. Or at the very least, make sure you like and subscribe.